here give and receive support, coaching, so that we can continue to develop and grow our leadership and communication skills.
Thank you, Sylvia. As we do in the past and with all of our meetings, we usually begin with the pledge. And I did have a flag here that was going to be coming up, but let us join with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'd like to welcome everyone this morning. Our theme of our meeting this morning, is going to be a staycation. So if you are familiar with a staycation, that's what we're doing this morning. We're having our staycation, and we do have our word of the day. And I'd like to share that word of the day with everyone today. The word of the day is deracinate. Deracinate. It means to isolate or to alienate a person from a native or customary culture or environment. The word of the day, deracinate. And if you're not familiar with, but what this morning on the bottom, you will see where it says chat. And if you click on that chat button right there, what we'll do is it'll open up your chat window. And when we are giving our speeches today, whoever our speaker is, which will be Moklis and also Dave, when you would like to give your little love note or feedback to them, what I'd like to ask you to do is please hit the chat button and then private message them. And I have to mute Phil there, or whoever is. Okay, hit the chat button. Hit the chat button, and then what will happen is you'll have the ability at that point to private message. You hit the drop down and hit on whoever's name is giving the speech. And at that point, you can actually send them a little love note or a message on their speech. And our evaluator this morning, the evaluators will do the exact same thing as they're evaluating our speaker, which would be Moklis or Dave. When you evaluate them, you would actually give them their evaluation via the private message, but you'll also be giving it a verbal presentation. So at this time, what we'd like to do is find out who our role holders are and give a quick explanation of your role. First of all, we have our master, which will be Tom Moran.
This morning, I'll be counting the ahs, ums, and other unusual pauses. And then when called upon at the appropriate time in the meeting, I will be responding with my report. So let's be careful. Even though we're not here in person, we still got to watch those ahs and ums are probably even more noticeable in this context. Mr. Toastmaster.
Tom, thank you, Tom. And Tom will also be watching our gestures through our videos this morning, and he will be giving a report back with that also later today. Our grammarian this morning is Samir.
Yeah, so I'll keep track of everyone's grammar and watch for any odd phrases or incorrect or especially great usage of language.
Thank you, Samir. This morning, I do believe we need a little jest, and we will call upon Kate Banks to offer a little jest this morning before we begin our meeting.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
When we can get back to restaurants again, did you hear there's a new restaurant around? It's called Karma. There's no menu even. You just get what you deserve.
Oh.
That is all.
Gee, thanks. Thanks, Kate, I think. Our timer this morning is going to be Len. And Len, could you explain your role and let us know a little bit about what you'll be doing and how we will be able to let our
My job is to
speakers know.
time the table topics as well as the speeches and evaluations. And it's early and my coffee's not kicked in yet. What's the timing on table topics again? 1 minute, 1.5, and 2 minutes?
That is correct.
Okay. And all of our speakers, let's see, we have Steve, Moklis, and David. Are you all 5 to 7?
Steve is not speaking this morning. We just have 2 speakers. We'll do an extra couple of table topics.
Moklis and, okay, so I know, see, Mr. Licata, are you 5 to 7?
Indeed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just unmuted you temporarily. Thank you.
You look nice on the side view there, Dave. Turn your camera, Dave.
Okay, I'm gonna try something real quick here. Let me see if this works. I'm not gonna pin my video. I'm gonna share my screen. People see a green light?
We do.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll play around with that. It's a test run today, but
Okay.
try one more.
Thank you, Len.
Okay.
Next, we have our quiz master of the day, which will be Michael Licata. Michael, are you with us?
Thank you, Larry. My job this morning will be to take notes and quiz everyone at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And this morning, what I'd like to do is I'd like to welcome all of our guests that are here with us this morning and joining in our AM Lockport first official Zoom meeting. And we want to thank you. We want to thank all of our members for joining us also. And what I'd like to have you do is, because of the fact that most of us are muted during the speeches, we are going to be using, everyone practice with me, here we go. We are going to be applauding, and this will be the universal applaud, there we go. And that'll be applauding for our speeches. What we will do though is we will ask at certain times for everybody to unmute and to offer in, but whenever our speakers are coming or being introduced, please welcome them to the stage accordingly. At this time, what I'd like to do is welcome our table topics master this morning, and that is Eric Schneider. And Eric will be offering some wonderful table topics questions for our guests and also for our members this morning.
So
Please welcome Eric.
I thought you were going to go introduce some of our new guests. So I think that's always welcome gesture
Okay.
for visiting. Thank
Okay,
you.
well, no problem. Thank you, Mokas. What I will do then before we begin with Eric, and Eric, you're on hold, is welcome our new guests. And what I'd like to do is, if you're joining us this morning as a guest, if you would please unmute and please let us know who you are and where you're joining us from.
Morning, everybody.
David.
Jones from Queen City Toastmasters. We had Eric join us Tuesday night, so we decided to return the favor and come back. I'm secretary of the club, and we do it at 6:30 at night, which is a big difference than what you all are doing. So enjoy being here with you.
Thank you very much for joining us, David. We got you up early this morning. And as we say in the club, it's worth getting up for. And who else do we have as a guest this morning? Alexis.
Yes, Eric invited me, so I had decided to join since I have my mornings free now.
Well, fantastic.
And I'm right here from Lockport.
Oh, well, welcome from Lockport.
Thank you.
And usually we meet at Tom's Diner on Main Street and at 7 a.m. every Thursday. So you're more than welcome to, once we meet again at Tom's, come and join us if you're available, and breakfast will be on us that morning. So
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Alexis. Do we have any other guests? Let me take a look here. And
Siddhartha Bansal. I think he's a guest.
Siddhartha, welcome.
Hi, my name is Siddharth. I'm actually from India. and I have attended this meeting today. So I'm looking forward for another great meeting. I'm already a part of a club in India in District 41. So looking forward for another great meeting in the New York. So all the best, guys.
Thank you for joining us this morning and welcome. We also have, I do believe it is Angelina.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, morning all. I'm Angel from Indonesia, and it's nice actually here. But it's nice to meet you. It's really nice to meet you all. And I know about this club from Instagram. Thank you for Instagram. And I'm really curious about how you guys are running the meeting, because currently I just do the clubbing just inside my country in Indonesia, so that maybe I want to learn from your club. Thank you. Oh, don't forget, if you want to join our meeting in Jakarta Toastmaster, we held the meeting every Monday at 7 p.m. Also in the Zoom meeting.
Oh, fantastic. And if you don't mind, if you could actually put a link for your Zoom meeting on our Facebook page, that would be awesome. That way we'd be able to check that out, and happy to join in on the meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, Angelina. Welcome this morning. And I do believe we have one other guest, and it is, I see it says Ish.
Larry, it's Ishmael.
Oh. I am sorry. Where is Ishmael at? Okay, you're in by phone today. Okay. Oh, there's Ishmael.
Video.
I'm right here.
Welcome, Ishmael. I did not see that that was you. So welcome, Ishmael. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
All right. Eric, I am going to turn the meeting over to Eric right now with our table topic. So please welcome Eric Schneider.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests.
All right.
Staycation. Wish I can be on staycation, but I'm, very happy that I'm working still right now during these tough times. But staycation, I think we all like to staycay, relax, watching TV, be with family, and catch up on anything that's going on in our world. So I'm going to ask Larry Eggert, what does he like to do during a staycation?
Forgive me if I'm technologically challenged here. It takes a minute. What do I like to do in a staycation? Well, thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Staycations are nice. I just don't think I like them when they're 2 months long. That's just me. This deracination can really get to you after a while. However, what am I doing now? Well, mostly my lawn is the best looking lawn in the neighborhood right now. I have little rollers. I was out yesterday rolling my lawn. I have thatched my lawn. My neighbors love me because I'm doing theirs as well, to tell you how bored I am. I'm also learning a lot about computers in my extended staycation, like probably everyone else is. I teach at Buffalo State College, and they canceled classes, as you well know, about a month ago. So I'm learning all there is to know about Blackboard for those of you that have ever had to use that. It's a pretty interesting experience. But probably the biggest thing that I've noticed that I've been doing is I've been talking at computers a lot, because part of the Blackboard is you have to give your courses by PowerPoint. So I have to talk on the PowerPoint for every slide, and that takes me about 4 or 5 hours for each 1 hour block of instruction. So pretty interesting. So that's what I've been doing on my staycation. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Larry.
And thanks for the mic.
Thank you so much, Larry. maybe my dad could use some mowing of the grass, so I'll give you a buzz if he needs help. I'm going to ask one of our guests to join in. I'm going to ask Dave Jones from Queen City Toastmasters. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Eric.
Dave, what is the best part of a staycation from your perspective?
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. David Jones from Queen City and Charlotte, North Carolina, home of the Panthers. For me, I am currently, I'm a bit of a late bloomer, so I am 9 weeks away from completing my MBA. So that pretty much takes up most of my time. And then July, I'm going to be starting my doctoral program in management. So everything's online. And like Larry said, I use Blackboard. So I'm an online student, so I'm able to do my schoolwork from home. And fortunately, I'm in the insurance business, so I'm able to work remotely. So for me, it's business as usual here. So staycation is the only thing different I've been doing is a lot of cleaning in the house, just a lot of sanitizing, just making sure, because I live alone with my dog, so it's not a lot of germs, but I think that is my main focus, is cleaning the house and studying, working, and then joining different Toastmasters and different opportunities, a lot of ways to entertain ourselves with different Zoom meetings and online activities. So for me, it's been a great experience. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Dave. Excuse me. Tracy. Tracy's like, oh, me? Tracy, what do you do to entertain yourself during staycation, or what, like during your quarantine? What did you entertain yourself during your staycation?
Can you hear me? Okay. So I was in 14 days of quarantine just because I came back from a hot spot. I was never sick, so everybody should know that. But I spent that time doing a lot of stuff around the house. We got a lot of things organized. I learned how to cook a little bit. I was able to go to, last year I told you about the cottage that we purchased, and since that's in an isolated location, I was able to go there. We're remodeling the bathroom, and we're doing that ourselves. So it was a good chance to get a lot of things done and do things I really didn't have a lot of time to do. To personate myself, I don't know if I'd really call that a bad thing. I've really enjoyed this time, being able to get caught up in a lot of things, to slow down, really take time to look at what I'm doing and enjoy the process along the way. So I'm enjoying quarantine and a little bit more isolation than I have in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. I just read something on Facebook that cooking can relieve the stress. And I totally agree with that. So I'm going to ask Deb Franco. Deb, can you hear me? Morning, Deb. Hi, Deb.
Good morning.
Deb, did you do a lot of baking around the house during your staycay?
I can't say as if I baked it all. I'm not a huge baker, but I am a big cooker. I made lasagna yesterday. I made, roasted chicken with roasted vegetables the other day. Steak, potatoes, green beans. I've been cooking a lot. Homemade chicken noodles or chicken soup, and so that's been fun. I enjoy doing that. We also, I'm along with Tracy. I'm taking this time to do things that I really haven't had a chance to do, so I'm looking at it in a very positive way. I'm not feeling very derelict. I'm reading, I'm praying, I am doing puzzles, I'm playing sequence. All last week I beat my husband. All this week he's beating me. I think he took on my strategies. And doing some yard work, doing some artwork. So I'm getting a lot of things done in a relaxed way because life can be so rushed. So I'm taking advantage that life is not rushed right now.
Thank you very much, Deb. Do we have time for one more?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I love board games, and during my time, I like to, play some games here and there when I'm home doing a staycation. So I'm going to ask another one of our guests this morning. Let's see. Do we have any other guests? Okay. How about Angelina from our guest this morning? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Good morning. Do you like playing any like board games or stuff with family during a staycation?
Board game. If we talk about board game, already start. Okay. Okay. If we talk about board game, is some kind of a traditional game that nowadays it changed to be a digitalization one actually. But I still love to play board game. Perhaps not with my family because no one's understand about it. Usually I play board game in one of community. So it's fun to play the board game because sometimes when you play board game, we can do some kind of the strategy. That's how sometimes we play smart with it. But to be with family, I think that the most time to do with family is just staying at home and just talking with them. I think that's what the most time I do with my family because no one in my family can do the board game. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could I have a timers report, please, Len?
You may indeed. All of our contestants and table topics qualified. Larry Eggert at 128, David Jones at 109, Tracy Farrell 109, Deb Franco at 117, and Angelina just squeaked in at 101.
Thank you. Can I have a word master report, Larry?
Yes, our word of the day was deracinate, and it was not used throughout table topics, but that is okay because we are going to, because it is my choice this morning, we are not going to count that against any of our speakers. So all 5 of our speakers qualified this morning via unanimous decision.
Yay.
How will voting be conducted, Larry?
Okay, in order to vote this morning for our table topics, what we would like you to do is our Sergeant of Arms is Ishmael. What I'd like everyone to do is under that message part, right down there, where you would see under chat, private message ish, ISH, which is our table topics master. And what I'd like to have you do is vote for either Tracy, David, Larry, Deb, or Angelina, and then just send just the one name, as we're only going to choose the one today. And if you could please send that to Ish, and at the end of the meeting we will call on Ishmael to give a report.
Larry, I was just raising my hand. I'm on
Yes.
an iPad. I don't have a keyboard, so I won't be doing that. And also, a few people have sent me messages that I've been unable to respond to. So I don't want you to think I'm being rude or anything. It's just that it's a kind of an awkward setup as it is. Next time I'll try open up my laptop and do it that way. Will be easier.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
And let's see here. Okay. Thank you very much, Eric, for this morning for your table topics. And those of you that are able to send that private message over to our Sergeant of Arms, Ishmael, please do that now. And before we continue with our speeches this morning, what I'd like to do is I would like to, as we do every week, offer a toast. And this morning, if you have a glass or a cup of water, coffee, tea, whatever your beverage of choice is this morning, or if not, that is okay. But this morning, I would like to toast, and please have everyone, please say their prayers. And this toast this morning is for all of our first responders, all of our medical, and all of the people that are out there in harm's way, so that we have the ability to be able to stay at home and be safe and hopefully flatten the curve. So this morning, this toast goes out to all of them, but also to all of us to make sure that we do our part. So here.
Sure.
This morning, we have the pleasure of having two speakers. We have Moklis and we also have Dave Wakata. This morning, evaluating our first speaker, which will be Moklis, will be Margot. Margot, could you please introduce Moklis this morning?
Good morning. Moklis is doing a 5 to 7 minute speech. I'm going to just use the normal form because I don't know which part of Pathways he's in, and his topic is Lands for Learning. So help me welcome Moklis, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Again, this is our first official at the right time Zoom meeting for the AM Lockport Club. I see 26 of us in this meeting. I want to greet all of you for a successful meeting. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. The title of my speech is Alliance for Learning. It's also a short name for Alliance for Learning, Inspiration, and Motivation. Why do I want to talk about this topic? I believe in, and I'm passionate about helping others. One of the modes for helping others is education. If you've heard about, if you see a person needing some help, you can help him with something you give, or you can help him help himself or herself. And that is through education. If he's hungry, then you can give him food. If he needs clothing, you can give him clothing. But one area that everyone can benefit from is through education. So I'll have few topics. Why education? Education is key for success, progress, and prosperity. I know we are all going through this coronavirus pandemic and suffering, and sometimes it's a moment to think about the progress and prosperity we have gained over the 50 years. I mean, I'm a perfect example of somebody who came from a very one of the poorest country of the world. That was Bangladesh. At one time, it was called the basket case of the poor nations. How did I get here? Through education. The picture you see behind me is of the Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore. I had the pleasure of spending almost 3 years staying in that place. How did I achieve that? Through education, education, education. Just like how do you go to Carnegie Hall? Through education, education, education. So how did I get here? After high school engineering education, then went to graduate schools in Canada, then went to graduate school in USA, in University of Wisconsin-Madison. And then joined Kodak. After Kodak, I worked for Pepsi-Cola. I worked for Hewlett-Packard. Again, some of these companies are quite familiar, and to the professionals, they're supposed to be very rewarding places to work for both personal and professional growth. However, along the journey, my bosses became very aware that I was very stubborn. I did not communicate well. I did not listen, which I still am struggling. Listening is one of the greatest skills Toastmasters have provided me, and I'm still learning. And finally, leadership. In my journey of professional and personal life, I saw 3 milestones. One is Dale Carnegie course. Kodak paid for it. It was a 12-week course then. Learned the art of communication and human relationship. And after that, I had the wonderful experience of joining Toastmasters Club about 20 years ago. I was so thrilled to find out a continuous learning environment. I'm not very good at designating life. I like to be among people. Clubs provide a very good atmosphere for that. Second milestone came in my life is through community quality councils, which was a group of people who got together in a community to enhance cooperation, collaboration, and coordination. And I would like to promote community learning circles for practicing, improving, using these tools of cooperation, collaboration, and coordination. Finally, I had the opportunity to run a world-class by design conference in Rochester and Buffalo. And the purpose of this conference was to promote the use of world-class tools and processes so that you can make the best possible product and services. One such tool is called quality function deployment. It is a tool to laser focus on your customers' wants and needs so that you can serve them, wow them, just like Amazon and many other successful companies are doing, has grown from nearly startup to trillion-dollar companies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mofus. At this time, what I'd like everyone to do is in the chat portion of your screen, if you have the ability to do so, I would like you to each private message Moklis and let him know your thoughts on his speech from this morning. And also for our evaluator, that is how you also be giving him a short message on his evaluation, and then you can forward his evaluation sheet to him via email if you wish to do it that way also. Once again, we'll have 1 minute if our timer can give us 1 minute so that everyone can have an opportunity to do that.
It's a long time, Larry.
Okay, we all good, Todd? Okay, I was getting for the 1 minute there. Sorry about that, Len. All right.
Yeah, we'll call.
There's our red light. Thank you. Our second evaluator this morning will be Jen Zapla, and Jen will be evaluating Dave Licata. Jen, if you would, please let us know a little bit about Dave Licata and his speech.
Yes, today I am evaluating Dave, and I would love to tell you more about his speech today. However, he was not responding to chats or text messages, and he didn't put anything online. So I don't know what Dave's speaking about today, but I can tell you one thing, it is going to be amazing because he has been setting up for this entire meeting. So I'm looking forward to it.
Dave Licata with his speech this morning. Please welcome Dave Licata. Hello, Dave.
Can you hear me?
We can.
All right. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests from around the world. Yesterday, we celebrated our 36th anniversary. So the best thing you could do to celebrate that is find one of the charter members from AM Lockport, of which I am one. So naturally, the title of the speech is Happy Birthday and Many More. And the time is 5 to 7 minutes, Mr. Timer. Now, it is my habit, because I'm terrible on Facebook, from the point of view that I wish everybody a happy birthday, hoping that I will get happy birthdays in return. I'm not shy about that. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. So I want to wish AM Lockport happy birthday and many more. The many more is key. We're not going anywhere. AM Lockport started out a long time ago in Lockport, New York, and at that time, Lockport had 3 Toastmasters clubs. Today, Lockport has 1 Toastmasters club, and it's us. There was a gentleman that thought it would be great to have it on his resume that he started a Toastmasters club, and he got busy. Now, I would like to say that Phil Russell invited me to a meeting of AM Lockport, but it really wasn't so much of an invitation as it was a tip-off, because I was 35 years old, I was a newlywed, and being a person with a long history of little theater, I was a man in search of an audience. And that's how I came to be into AM Lockport Toastmasters. Now, the club wasn't chartered yet. So I came as a guest 1 week, and I came the following week as a guest. Now, could any of our veteran members venture a guess about what I did was a little bit different for a guest to do. Well, if you know me, what I did was I brought a guest. And I kept doing that and doing that because I wanted this club to grow. I wanted to get it on its feet. So I want to thank Phil so much for tipping me off about this club. Now, lucky for this club, my sister charter member, Edna Stubbs, while I'm very grandiose and I'm a cymbal and I beat drums, I'll drum up some business. Edna was always crossing the T's and Edna was dotting the I's. So I've always been grateful that she was a tremendous balance as we were getting this club going, because she took care of all the paperwork that had to be sent in. Incredibly, the district conference was held in Lockport that year. And at the breakfast meeting, quite apropos, we were chartered, AM Lockport, at the Best Western. And ironically, it's the Best Western again, after having a series of different names and different organizations that were running it. There was an evening club, and when word got out about the morning club, many of the people in the evening club thought the morning meetings would be more apropos for their purposes. They found us, and we welcomed them. And one of the reasons that we grew in numbers is that we do solid evaluations. In AM Lockport, you are never going to hear the word criticize. The word is evaluation. And we have come to the point early on in our history that once we evaluated you, when we were done, you couldn't wait to speak again. And that's always been our strength. Now, charter strength is 20 people. I believe we have over 40 members now. We have an incredible number of people right here at this Zoom meeting. Who would have ever dreamt it? So that's our situation. There's a Chinese curse, and the curse is, may you live in interesting times. I don't have to tell you, these are interesting times. And fate has provided us an amazing president. I'll be honest with you. I had a little trouble with Larry McKenzie wearing that Superman chain with that Superman medallion around his neck. But it's very appropriate, Larry. And I want to thank you for carrying us through this brief crisis that's going to be over with. This too shall pass. AM Lockport, happy birthday, and many more. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Dave. What I would like everyone to do at this time is we'll have 1 minute from our timer, and I would like to ask everyone through the chat portion to please private message Dave with how you think his speech went this morning, and I appreciate if you would do that now. Thank you. As we carry on with our meeting, it is time for our evaluations. Every speech deserves a wonderful evaluation. And this morning we have two great evaluators who will be evaluating our speeches. This morning, I would like to invite Margot to please come to the microphone and our evaluation of Moklis' speech. Please welcome Margot Bittner.
Thank you, Larry. Moklis, you started right up front with telling us why your speech is memorable. It's our first ever official Zoom speaker. Now, I don't know if we have an official club historian, but that's something that maybe we should put down in our annals. And it is an unusual format, and you coped with it very well. You had an elegant background, which you later explained in your speech. You coped with the situation, you were dressed properly, you stood right out in front of us and gave your speech, and you used the word of the day, deracimate. Very good job. You kept our attention a number of ways, and in this format, it's a little more challenging when you're giving a speech. First of all, you emphasized your vocal variety. Second of all, you spoke slower than normal, which was great, especially since I got your title wrong because I couldn't hear through my microphone. So the way you slowed it down really helped us follow with you. You also asked a lot of questions. So what is he going to do next? What is he going to work through? You also helped us understand your point by using groups of three. The 3 ways that you did public speaking through Dale Carnegie, Toastmasters, conferences. And even within those topics, you had a lot of groups of 3, which kept us all on track. You also used some humor when you used the basket case for the poor countries. You threw some things in there that made sure we kept listening to you. Learning was your theme, and we always learned from you. We learned more about you, your views on education, and you gave us some real positive reinforcement and positive ways to cope with the situation that we're going through now. As lifelong learners, this is important to us. But it is an evaluation, so I'd like to encourage you to, number 1, figure out a way to use some gestures. I know I'm not doing it now, but then you didn't do it then. But you can still, you can point, you can do a little bit of something, have a prop, maybe a book from Dale Carnegie, something to use some gestures to keep us a little more engaged. And your time was starting to run a little long, so your organization at the end fell apart. So maybe in this situation, a couple of notes would help you. So let me summarize it. And for those in my club, you know exactly what I just did. It was memorable, it was unusual, kept our attention, used humor, we learned, I'm encouraging you, and I'm summarizing. Moklis, you're the whole package. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Margot. We will ask for our next evaluator, who is Jen Zapla, to evaluate Mr. Dave Licata. And then I will have to ask for a timer's report, and we will do all of our voting at one time because I did pass over the voting on our speech. At this time, please welcome Jen Zapla, evaluating Dave Licata.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our meeting, and especially Dave. I am so excited to get to evaluate you today, Dave, for a number of reasons. One of them being that you are such an experienced member of our club. And I'm so excited that you have, I know, come so far out of your element to be here with us today, speaking virtually, because as you mentioned in your speech, you are a man in search of an audience. And so you came to us as the only audience you could get today. And it means a lot. And to watch you prepare, because I did watch you prepare at the beginning, as I mentioned, although I am making a joke about it, it was really incredible to know that you had taken the time to prepare your space. And I believe you were standing, is that correct? I can't hear you, just nod, yes or no. Okay, Dave was standing. Excellent. I thought he was, and I thought that was actually a really great foresight because I had wondered myself, how are you going to speak? I'm sitting right now, And I was thinking, like, how are you going to speak well without standing and gesture well? And although you were very conscious of it, I could tell from your speaking, you gave us a topic that was inspirational, and you spoke about something that mattered to you. And you did it in the way that you know how, and brought it to us in this very different format that many of us have not worked with. And I'm pretty sure you have not worked with this format very much in the past either. So I want to say, excellent start. Of course, there is room for improvement. So a couple of things to improve today. If you have any way of even backing off further, I couldn't see much of your arms, and I know there's a lot in your gestures. So some way to make sure that we can see those arms. And Dave, I know you don't need notes. I've watched you speak enough to know this. So you have all of the content there. Make sure that you are yourself with us. And although we can't banter back and forth, and I know you're dying from not being able to lead our clapping today, we are still able to be your audience, because I know you need an audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jen. Mr. Timer, Len, may we have a timer's report for our speakers and also for our evaluators this morning?
Absolutely, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Muklas spoke for 6 minutes and 9 seconds. He qualified, as did Dave at 5 minutes, 23 seconds. So you can vote for either Muklas or Dave for best speaker. With regards to the evaluators, again, both of our contestants qualified, Margot at 2:17 and Jen at 2:35. And I apologize, Margot, on my lights. I got a little confused with switching screens there, and your yellow and red came on a little bit quickly there. It's a work in progress.
Thank you, Len. If you would please, on the chat portion, if you would private message Ishmael with your vote for best speaker, which would be either Moklis or Dave Licata. And for evaluator, we have Jen or Margot. And we will give you a few seconds to take care of that and to do that for us. And while you're preparing to do that or finishing up, there is a person who I did not introduce at the beginning, but a very important person to invite to the stage or to the microphone at this time, and that is our general evaluator for our meeting, and that is Mr. Ryan Flory. And Ryan will be giving our general evaluation of our meeting, and then we can also call for reports. And as a quick reminder, Ryan, I will check with also, you are our suggested Toastmaster for next week's meeting, and we can discuss and go over that with you either post-meeting or during the meeting. And if you can, please check your roles for next week and let us know if you will be attending next week's meeting and be able to fulfill your roles. Please welcome Ryan Flory, our general evaluator this morning.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you for joining us on Zoom. So as I begin, I will make a plug for next week just to start out. If you know at this point that you will not be there next week, just shoot me a chat message now. That way I can get the roster prepared. If you are there and on the list and don't send me that, I will assume you will be there next week, and then I'll be sending out regular emails like we normally do throughout the week to fill roles. So thank you for that. Going into notes on today's meeting, I want to start out from the beginning. I think Larry did an excellent job of getting everything started with instructions and introductions on time. I know this being the first official Zoom meeting, we didn't start our invocation directly at 7 o'clock, but I think that's both understandable and a given when moving from a physical to a digital presence. Moving through you introduced the guests with a little prompting from Moklis, so thank you for that, Moklis, as a good reminder to make sure that despite the fact it's not obvious that there are new people in the quote room, we want to make sure that we're still giving credence and recognition to our guests as they arrive with us. I do want to say once again, on behalf of Toastmasters AM Lockport, thank you to our guests for joining us today. It's great to have new people, and it's a really good opportunity to have people from around the world being on this digital platform. Just some overall notes on the meeting in general. Remember, mute versus unmute in the digital platform. We want to make sure that we're using those appropriately. For the most part, people can stay on mute for most of the meeting. You can certainly unmute to speak up, but make sure that if there's anything going on in the background that you're muted. I don't know if people follow posts that are going on online, but people have shown up half dressed. People have shown up with their dog barking in the background. People have shown up in far worse condition to a Zoom meeting and gotten in a lot of trouble for that. So I also want to give credit for everybody. Everybody's well dressed, well prepared. The backgrounds are all appropriate. I don't, have any concerns about that at this point. So that was great to see. David Jones, a guest of ours, since you're a Panthers fan, I just wanted to point out that the Bills have accepted a lot of the ex-Panthers staff and players. So you might as well change loyalties now. Welcome to Buffalo. But as we move forward, Eric, you did a really good job with the 5 well-prepared table topics to cover down for being just 2 speakers. You got 2 of the guests involved, which is always a good thing for table topics since it's a little more impromptu. Larry, I was worried about the toast, but you snuck it in there in the middle of the meeting. So good job on wrapping that back in. That's always important to have. Evaluators did a good job of introducing speakers, especially over the digital format, and everybody for the most part was on board with the new applause, whether you did an air applause or you did the sign language applause. It's good to make sure that we're still recognizing our both role holders and our speakers as they're coming in. We want to make sure we keep up the enthusiasm on the digital format. Margot, great enthusiasm, positive reinforcement early on. You kept the sandwich approach. I know especially our 2 speakers today, Moklis and Dave, are both experienced beyond probably a lot of our joint experience. So they're both great speakers, and it's always difficult to come up with good, solid reinforcement points, but you did a great job of doing that. You summarized everything and wrapped it up at the end, which I really like. The only thing I would watch out for is, and maybe this is just your speaking style, but there were a lot of stringing alsos. So as opposed to stringing ands or stringing buts, it was stringing alsos. And as you tie so many of those together, you kind of take away from the emphasis that can bring to a sentence or two. So I would just watch out for that. But again, I think you did a really good job of not only getting it in time, but summarizing everything and making sure Moklis had something to grow from. So that was a great job, Margot. Jen, the one thing that I would say about you is you brought up one of the excellent points about standing. And Dave, this is kudos to you. I think when you get into a digital format, you're very comfortable in whatever chair you're sitting in. You're very comfortable in whatever. I'm sitting at a breakfast bar right now, drinking my coffee in a tall bar stool. But I think when we're speaking, it's more natural for us to be up and be standing like we are in our club meetings. So Dave, I think that was an excellent way of doing your speech. I think the camera was set up well for it. I could see you in it. There wasn't any awkward, missing head or missing shoulders, things like that. That was a great point of bringing it up, Jen. I would say calling out your speaker prior to the speech is best saved for the evaluation round. It can create a bias going into the speech itself, but I also understand we have to make sure, especially when we're not in these face-to-face settings, that we're getting the information to our evaluators and to and from our speakers to our evaluators so that they're prepared coming into the meeting, because it can be difficult coming into a meeting not knowing what you're going to be evaluating or how you're going to be evaluating it. Other than that, Jen, you came back at the end and provided really good points for Dave. You made sure that you, again, provided the sandwich approach, and because he's Dave and he can take it, you picked on him a little bit, which I like, because it's all in good humor, especially kind of keeping everything lighthearted these days. Just a couple more points about general etiquette for the meeting. If you are moving around or otherwise engaged, please turn off your video. It can be a little bit distracting. Again, everyone was well dressed for everything, and everybody for the most part did a really good job of labeling themselves on Zoom, which is another new point to these meetings, making sure that they have their roles, whether they're a speaker, an evaluator, and for Larry, the table topics victim. I appreciate that. That's always a good, again, piece of humor to bring in these trying times. So without further ado, I'm going to start calling for reports. So the first report I'd like to call for is the Master report. Tom.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. There's an example of an and an right there. So for those people who aren't familiar with the Master report, that's what I'm reporting on. There were a few as it started out this morning, but I think as people became more comfortable with the format, they stopped using ahs and ums. Eric, you had a few in when you were doing the table topics. So I noted those. You had 3. Larry Eggert was perfect. Nothing there. Dave, perfect. And Deb, you had 1 when you were speaking. Now, our champion was Angelina from Jakarta. She had several ahs and ums throughout the speech. Is Angelina still here?
Yes, she's there.
She had several, I noticed. And I did, even though you're a guest, I still have to note those things. That's a moral thing for me. I have to follow through on these sort of things. If you don't mind, Ryan, I can give my gesture report at the same time, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I noticed a lot of people, when you use this format, you have a lot of people do like eye rolls. I can see them looking up when they're talking, and it's more visible when you're just focused on someone's face in this format. And I have a suggestion. Jen had a good idea with props and that, but some people, their speech doesn't lend them to using props. So I have an idea for everyone who needs a prop. I'm wearing one right now. And to use your glasses more. And for those people who don't have glasses, to get a pair of glasses. Just get a pair that you don't even need, and you can use them. You can take them on and off to accentuate your speech and things that you really want to make dramatic. Phil, I see Phil down there is using his glasses now. Earlier, I thought maybe Phil was at a poker tournament, and I kind of missed something in this introduction. So that's my report, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. My next report that I'm going to be calling for is the grammarians report, and I apologize, I don't see who is the grammarian.
That is Samir.
Samir, my apologies. Samir, go ahead with your grammarians report. Thank you.
Yeah, so I noticed a little bit of misuse of the word deracinated, but besides that, I think everyone did a pretty good job of not butchering the English language. I didn't notice anything too salient that seemed out of place, but perhaps at the earlier portion of the meeting, my coffee had not kicked in and I missed something. So if so, I do apologize. But otherwise, good job, everyone. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Samir. Our final report is from our word master. How did our word of the day do?
Sorry about that.
No, good.
I was muted. Our word of the day, well, deracinate did not do quite as well as we thought it would. Deracinate, to isolate or to alienate a person from a native or customary culture or environment. We only had a couple of people that had used that. Actually, Moklis did use it during his speech. And I just wanted to use that word today because of the fact that because most of us are at home and we are isolated from our normal feeling. So the word of the day didn't do quite as well, but remember to use it this week. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
It was a good word. It was an appropriate word for the theme and the time we are going through.
I agree wholeheartedly. And for those of you that are on Facebook or Instagram, if you do not already follow, please follow Grandiloquent Word of the Day. It is an excellent resource if you're looking for inspiration for something like this or just trying it in your everyday life. So that is, unless I have mistakenly not or pre-crossed off something, that is the final report. And so,
Esther.
We have a Quizmaster.
Quizmaster, my apologies.
Mike
Licata.
Mike Licata. Thank you, Mr. Quizmaster. Please go ahead and challenge us.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I have 3 simple questions today. What program does Larry Eggert use for teaching?
Blackboard.
Blackboard.
Thank you, Eric. And what did Moklis use as his background?
The
hotel.
Shangri-La in Singapore.
Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore.
Thank you. And what date did AM Lockport Toastmasters get charted?
April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day.
1984.
There you go. That's my report for this morning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Quizmaster.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And now I will turn the meeting back over to the presiding officer of the day and our Toastmaster, Larry.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Next week, Ryan will be our Toastmaster of the week. And Ryan will also let us know what his theme is throughout our emails. And remember, if you are not able to attend next week's meeting and you do have a role, please let Ryan know. And Ryan, I do believe that between now and next week, between Len and myself, we can get together, and also with Jackie, and go over some of the things for the meeting. And I do believe what we are going to do is combine a couple of the roles that we normally would use throughout a regular meeting. And what we're going to do is we are going to incorporate the Master, and I do believe a couple of the others, and we'll go over that with you, and then we'll redo the assignments for the job sheets, but normally we'll keep most of them the same. What we do have is we do have our voting, and that it has been completed, and Ishmael, our Sergeant of Arms, has forwarded the winners of our, let me just see here, our table topics today. Our table topics, we had a tie. So let's give a nice round of applause to Larry Eggert and Angelina, one of our guests. Our table topics voted winners today. Yay. Angelina and Larry. Our evaluator this morning, Jen Zapla.
Good job, Jen.
And our speech today, our top voter for the speech, Dave Licata. All right. So now, this morning, what I'd like to do is ask if anyone would like to offer any type of announcement or has anything that they would like to share with the club.
I do. I have a quick announcement that AM Lockport is still collecting dues. So if you need to pay your dues still, they can be paid online, or you can message me and I will give you my home address. You can send me a check. We have the dues have been extended a month, and most of the members have paid, so we're set there, but we are still collecting and waiting for quite a few dues.
Are there any other announcements?
Yes, this is Moklis. I attended a couple of Zoom meetings for different clubs, and three things. The timing process was very good today with the traffic signal. I liked it. And second one was for voting. I think that Zoom has a form in which you can write all the table topic speakers and evaluators and speakers. And in one form, everybody can vote. And the third thing I saw, which was delightful, there's a feedback form, like 5 or 6, very small form. At the end of the meeting, that form was shown in the share screen or whatever, or chat room, and you could just take an improvement suggestion. Since this is a new format, I think we have a lot of tools and processes that become very useful to make the meeting. It is a great meeting. I'm not taking anything away. It is the best club that I've ever been to. But with the Zoom technology, we should explore. And I think we have tech specialists in this club who can help us. I'm not this tech specialist. I think younger folks can do a lot more to help us out. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Larry, as timer today, it's a little bit tricky bringing up the PowerPoint slides in a timely fashion, and I think it's going to be undoable for a lot of members using handheld devices and other things besides a PC. So what I would suggest, if you're going to be timer, if you can find something that's red, yellow, and green and just kind of hold them up, it might work a little bit better than trying to switch applications. Just a suggestion there. We're not always going to be able to do the timing lights like that.
And a perfect introduction for me, Len. I'm still open. I'm in an essential business. So we are doing home deliveries and things, and the farm is still up and running. So agriculture is still alive.
Larry.
Awesome.
In my club, we do what he's just saying. I got my red, got my yellow, and I got my green. That way everybody can still see the speaker going and they just know to look for the timer, keep an eye on them, and that's how we handle it at our meeting.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. I do have a question. When the speakers were speaking today, were they spotlighted on your screens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that feature did work for us.
Larry, if I may, this is Phil.
Yes, Phil.
The timing of this meeting was perfect. It goes along with what we do normally. And I feel there is room for the third speaker, keeping it within the 5 to 7 format and the evaluators. Plus, to give everybody a chance to learn how to use this, I don't see any need to, unless you really feel it's necessary, to duplicate roles. It gives everybody a chance to try and see how to work this thing. I know myself, it feels like I'm starting all over this technology, but the way I would do it would be to let everybody have an opportunity if they would like. Tom did a great job with the dual role, but that takes us back to a time when we didn't have as many members.
One of the things with that, to follow up with that, throughout the week since Sunday, I had sent out a few different emails that we had a change in Toastmaster a couple of days ago. And along with that, we had quite a few roles where people were not responding back. And we had 5 roles that as of this morning, we had to fill. One was a speaker that actually dropped out last evening. So with that, I think the communication would have to be a lot better to our Toastmasters so that they can plan accordingly with that also. And normally within our meetings, we have 19 different roles. So, which would mean that there would be 19 participants that would have a role within our meeting. We just have to make sure that we have 19 people that are okay with taking a role within the meeting.
Yeah, and I think as we get more adept with Zoom,
David wants to.
Larry.
Yes, who's speaking?
Larry.
Yes, Dave.
Check with our international guests and see if they enjoyed the meeting. Thank you.
I will definitely do so.
All right.
Yes. If I may, I would like to ask each one of our guests, David, who is still with us, if you have any feedback, or I thank you for your input with the timing cards. I appreciate that. And maybe a quick evaluation of our meeting, and when is your meeting? And if you're doing a Zoom meeting, if it would be okay if we perhaps join in on yours.
Sure. We do ours every Tuesday night at 6:30. We had Eric join us. I believe he has link through Instagram. But your meeting is educational. I'm going to go back to the board. I'm the treasurer of ours. And you all do a lot of different things that we don't do. For instance, invocation. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to have to look it up and see what that is. That's something we don't do. We do the Pledge of Allegiance. And there are quite a other few things that you did that we don't do that we're going to look at incorporating. But it also has to do with the number of members that are at the meeting each time. So definitely was educational for me.
Thank you very much, David. Also, we have, and let me just check to see, still with us, and Angelina. We want to welcome you once again. And when does your club meet, and how did you enjoy your meeting, our meeting today?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I cannot hear clearly.
Yes. This morning, thank you for joining us.
Mhm.
And how did you enjoy the meeting? And when does your club meet? And is it via Zoom?
Oh, okay. So hello, fellow Toastmaster. I'm really glad. This is my first time I do the Zoom meeting out of Indonesia. So for for this morning's meeting, I see some kind of new faces, and I'm really enjoy the meeting, especially for the table topic session, because it's a kind of different topic about staycation. I just new to hear that kind of sentence. And also, I would like to invite you to join our Zoom meeting, Jakarta Toastmaster Club. We have meeting every Monday at 7 p.m. at the time of Jakarta. So what time in New York is actually? We have 7 p.m. at night, the time of Jakarta. Thank you all. Good job for the role takers and the Tom and all.
Thank you very much. And what time is it there now, if I may ask? What is your time right now, where you are?
Oh, right now it's
Yes.
7:23 p.m. It's actually New York is 11 hours behind.
Okay.
We have
Thank you.
11 hours time difference.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Next, we have Alexis. Alexis, how did you enjoy the meeting this morning?
I enjoyed the meeting. I didn't know anything about Toastmasters. I didn't even know that Toastmasters existed until Eric introduced me to the concept, and I'm really happy that he did, because I still have trouble with my speech. I was really, really shy child, and I remember it being painful for me to speak. I couldn't order my own food, and you know, a lot of life experiences have helped me, you know, between having children, going to college, being a manager, a store manager, and I've learned over the years that speech is so important and powerful to meet your goals, your main needs. And I think it's an excellent group, and I'm glad to have met you all. And my first meeting being over Skype worked out perfect for me because of my shyness. So thank you all.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And please join us again next week. We would be happy to have you join us again. Next, I would like to ask Siddharth, if you would please give us your thoughts on today's meeting.
I think it was a great meeting today. I mean, I got to know a lot of new roles that Toastmasters over here have, like the gesture master or the invocation or many other such roles, which we do not
Yeah.
also do
Yeah.
in our own clubs.
Do you have
And
a
that was one of
battery?
the beautiful things about Toastmasters online as well. To be honest, I've never traveled in a foreign country apart from India. And to be able to be a part of so many new foreigners around me, even from Indonesia or from Queen City, is quite I think it's literally is one of the best things that have happened to me in this staycation, if I have to say that. So it was a very nice word. I really loved it. The creativity that you guys have, the energy that you guys have in this club is amazing. And about my club, it happens on a Saturday evening at 5:30 p.m. It's basically a GMT 5 plus 5:30 hours. And if you want to join, we have our Zoom meetings as well. So we can publish that on our Instagram as well. It is known as the Gurgaon Orators Toastmasters. And we can connect from there as well. So do join anytime you want. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we appreciate all of you being here with us today. Are there any other announcements before we close our meeting for this morning?
Could I talk to Dave in North Carolina?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Dave in North Carolina, I couldn't help but notice the logo for the London Underground in the background of your shot.
Right.
It was my privilege to live in London in 1971 for a semester, and I have the whole underground map here on my wall, but I'm not going to turn my camera on because I'll probably disconnect myself. So I love your underground. Did you live in London?
I visited there for 2 weeks a few years ago, and it was a great experience. We did the whole country, so it was good.
The best thing about London is the incredible public transit.
That's what I liked. Yep.
Want for very little.
Thank you, David.
Larry?
Yes.
Larry, I have a question. I don't know if Tracy is still with us.
Tracy is, yes.
She may have left.
No, Tracy is still on with us.
He's still
Oh,
there.
she is? Oh, I don't see her. Well, I have, I can pay my dues through online here. I'm looking at a different club up here in Boston. I'm in Boston now, for those people who don't know. I left back in December. So I can pay my dues up here. I'm just wondering how that would work when I opt for this different club up here where I could actually physically attend meetings. I don't mind the online format. I mean, if we were to do this for now until whenever. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is re-up my membership. I don't want to lose my membership and have a gap in membership. So I think I'm going to do my online membership through Lockport AM Toastmasters, and then maybe at some point transfer.
And you can do that, Larry. I mean, Tom, you can do that, up your dues and then transfer it. I don't know the actual process of transferring it. Maybe Larry can fill you in more on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we can deal with that when the time comes, but that's my plan. Is I'll send my dues into Lockport AM and keep that going. Only because we have this change right now is the only reason I'm considering that. So, well.
All right, it's exciting to have you back. We've missed you.
Yeah, we put me on the schedule then.
Definitely will. We definitely will. One of the things I would like to do right now is we can continue our post-toasties. What I will do, though, is I will officially adjourn this morning's meeting. And if you would like to stay on the Zoom meeting and socialize, we will be able to do that and have some conversation back and forth. But as official, the meeting is now closed for this morning. And please continue. We want to thank everyone for joining us. Please stay with us if you would like, and the Zoom meeting will continue for those that would like to have an opportunity to socialize and talk back and forth. So thank you for joining us. Officially, the meeting is over, but please join us for post-toasties.
Hey, Larry, you did a great job. I think the new format, you're doing excellent. You are a forever entertainer. That's good.
Thank you. I had the opportunity this week to sit in on 2 speech contests on Sunday from Quebec. One was from Ottawa and the other was from Quebec City. And the speech contests were done very, very nicely over Zoom. And then on Tuesday, I sat in on a meeting from London, England, which was extremely nice and different. And so I've had the opportunity, which is wonderful, such as some of our guests this morning, to visit clubs that I would never, ever have the opportunity to see without this format.
No, I asked for before.
Larry, how do we get the information on the various club Zoom meetings? I have a lot of time on my hands, and I wouldn't mind sitting in on a meeting now and then and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, if somebody could summarize all those meeting times and links in a group email to the club, that'd be nice.
I can do that because I've been sitting on a few clubs, so I can definitely email that.
That would be great, Eric.
Okay. And what we will do for our future Zoom meetings is it'll be the same meeting code and password for the next whatever the meetings are, so it won't change weekly. That way you'll have the same login every week. You just connect to that, and I'll make arrangements to have that done. Ryan, are you still with us?
No, I am not.
Okay. Well, in that case,
Yeah, I'm here, Larry.
Thanks, Ryan. For next week, we will make you a co-host of the meeting. That way you'll have control over some of the things that are going on, such as the mute button. You can actually go along to each member's icon and mute them if they are not muted throughout the meeting, and other capabilities that you have too. So we'll go over those with you. Any feedback that anyone has on anything that's going on in your life or as such? I
Larry.
know today was, yes.
Be sure to tell our international guests that Lockport meets 19 miles from Niagara Falls. They all want to see the falls, Larry. So maybe look up in person.
Maybe we should have the falls as our background.
That'd be a good idea.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Or
Do a background for the whole
So we
meeting?
start out with the locks, our famous locks as a background.
Or Lock 34. That's not a bad idea. We could do that. I was very pleased today. We had actually people from 3 different countries with us today, which is wonderful.
How many continents did we cover today?
We covered 3,
That's
which
good.
is wonderful. How is everybody doing? I see that we still have quite a few people on with us this morning. Does anyone have anything they would like to share with the group?
Let me update you on, I think when I talked to you, Larry, the other day, that I was seeing a doctor at Dana-Farber for my infusions. And they put me on hold because of the COVID virus. That at Brigham Women's Hospital is strictly all COVID patients now. So they put me on hold so that I couldn't go to the hospital and have my treatments. They delayed that for a month, but I got news the other day that I can now go to Dana-Farber and get get my infusions. Honestly, it scares the hell out of me because when they told me the process for going there is you pull up, you have to be cleared into the building. They take your temperature. They do all this kind of like pre-stuff and disinfect you before you go in the building. And all my family here is very concerned that I'm even going to do this versus, delaying treatments more. So it's kind of creepy up here, actually, for me especially. I know some people like the solitude and that sort of thing, but I don't know. I worry about it, and I worry about other people that I know in similar situations. So that's just my update.
Thank you for that, Tom. And one of the things that I know that you had mentioned too is that with everything that's going on, you're not able to see some of the family that's there and things because you're isolated from each other. And I've had the same situation with my grandchildren and things. And what we do is we do a daily check-in via FaceTime, and we do a group FaceTime, and we all get on and we spend probably a half hour, 45 minutes where we see how everybody's doing, and we usually play a game or something as such. And that's how we've been communicating back and forth with our family. And it's not quite the same. Those virtual hugs are not quite the same.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like a hug. No.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason we moved up here, is to be closer to family. Since we got here, we haven't been able to see anybody. We haven't been able to go anywhere. So, it's kind of, there's an irony there.
I do have a question for you though, Tom. I know you said that you sat in on the high school's meeting.
Yes.
How did that go?
That went real well. They're still working on their format, and they had 17 people attend last week's meeting. Eric's been sitting in on them as well, and Ishmael's been there also. They have been doing strictly table topics, but I think they're going to have a speaker next week. This graduate that he goes to, you may know him, Danny DeMillo. He's from Lockport, and he attended the DECA program and the Toastmasters program at the high school. He's at John Carroll University now in Cleveland, and he wants to come and be a speaker at one of our meetings at the high school. So I think Jill is trying to arrange that. So they're just getting underway with the format and getting everybody comfortable with it, but it seems to be working. So
awesome. I must say too, next week, next Thursday, the 9th, is our district speech contest.
Yeah.
And Dave Licata will be there representing our area 11 with table topics, and I will be there with him, and I'll be representing area 11 with the international contest. And it is going to be done via Zoom at 6 p.m. And once we have the link for that, I will share it with the club too, so that if you'd like to observe and come on and see a speech contest, we would love to have you as a cheering section also. But not only that, I want to commend Dave. Him and I had talked a little bit in regards to speeches and how they were presenting their speeches during the contest, and everyone was standing. Nobody was seated when they presented their speech. So my hat off to you today, Mr. Okada, for a great job with your background and your presentation by actually standing in that sitting. It was actually pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
You know what? It's just great to see everybody, isn't it?
It is.
And to have guests from around the world is mind-blowing. And when we get back to Tom's Diner, we might as well just set up and Zoom the whole thing to the world, even though it's a live meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my toast. I'll be back.
Yeah, if
Tom, I
we
have
can
a
get
question for
somebody
you.
that has a laptop or an iPad or something that they can set up across from the lectern and just broadcast it on Zoom, it's not gonna, I mean, I don't know if we can continue, I think it's what, $15 a month to keep the Zoom.
Oh, yeah, actually, I have the account set up.
Well, I
And
think Wi-Fi is the issue there. I don't know that we have Wi-Fi.
Well, yeah, that's why I was thinking tablet or,
You got to do it over a cell data. It's going to cost money.
actually, I have unlimited data on mine.
yeah.
So I might be able to do mine with a hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
We can test it.
I think we need a big screen in any event, and then it's another piece of equipment to get out every week. But it would be a great idea to include people that are out of town or even out of the country. That'd be great. Hey, Tom, quick question for you. You have a nice background there. Do you have a green screen, or are you just against a solid wall that it works?
No, I've got, no, this is what I got from, you know, when you go up to the dots there and select your background.
Yeah.
That's just, I picked out the picture and.
The background only works if you have like a solid wall behind you or a green screen.
It's white. It's a white wall, some windows and some lights on that. But I think that's a great idea, you know, like I forget who had that, maybe Dave or Larry, of putting up a background of, you know, like say the Locks or Niagara Falls or something like that, that's more representative of the area that we're from. So I think that's a pretty cool idea. I mean, I could put like, you know, Patriot Stadium up in back of me, you know, and people would know where I'm living, you know, that sort of thing.
Tom, I think we do it, just throw tomatoes at you. Patriots, come on. We don't want Gillette Stadium.
Phil, you do look like you're in a poker tournament for crying out loud. I'll hold. Are you holding, Phil?
Yeah.
I also want to say wow and thank you to our members for jumping onto this new technology. I know some of us have had some difficulty with pathways, with saying that it's on the computer and how do I go about doing that. And if you can enter and join a Zoom meeting, pathways is like kindergarten compared to being on a Zoom meeting. So you should be able to get into your pathways now.
Yeah.
And they've also simplified it.
I think we'll have hit the mark once Edna gets on. When Edna signs in on Zoom, we'll know we've made it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Definitely.
Hey, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Good news. I just received a text message from my mom. It's hilarious, but they finally have toilet paper at Walmart.
Oh, no kidding.
In
Okay. Good news. I can back off the cheese now.
So is that in Lockport that they have the toilet paper?
Toilet paper, yeah.
Oh.
We've been getting our stuff delivered. We get it. Jackie has an account at Target, and she orders the food, and we go through like a drive-through. You don't even go through the store. And there's a guy out there with your cart full of food, and he puts it in the back of your car, and then you bring it home here and unload it in your garage and leave it set for 24 hours. It's like a bizarro world, really. I've never seen anything like it.
My daughter had something that she ordered from Amazon, and it got delivered yesterday. And when I looked at where it came from, it came from White Plains. It came from White Plains.
Oh.
It came from New York City. So basically, it's now sitting outside covered, probably till tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna head out now, guys. We'll see you next time. Okay.
Right.
Tom, it's great to see you.
Everybody be good.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks. I'm going to check out as well. I got work to do, actually.
Len, take care.
See you, Lenny.
Take care.
Yes.
Brian, I do have a quick question for you.
I might have an answer.
Okay. For next week for Toastmaster, I noticed, I went on and I think I lost it now. I didn't see who had what roles. I know I am speaking. I just saw that on there. So I will definitely be on, but I'm not sure the other roles. Now, it was brought up to keep all of the roles, and Jackie had sent me a couple of messages about maybe taking out a couple of the roles that we don't typically use all of the time. Like today, I think I eliminated one of the roles because we didn't have anybody taking that role. But I mean, as Toastmaster, I would say if everybody is filling the roles and it's your choice, whichever you feel would be more comfortable for you to make sure that the meeting runs smoothly for you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see how enthusiastic response to the email is early on, and then I'll see if I can cover down and communicate with those that are already accepted and confirmed in their roles and see what coverage we can get. But I'm going to try to fill everything because it can't hurt. And then let's call it, you know, Saturday evening. I think everybody will have more than enough time between now and then that if by Saturday evening something's not filled, I'll reach out to the people that already have roles to double down.
Quick thing, Ryan. It's Phil Russell here.
Yeah.
I'm a little apprehensive of trying something because new technology to me, of course, but I would fill a minor role like an odd counter or something just in case you don't have it. Just a simple role just to get started in it. And I think that's way us people that are not technologically well-versed can just start to gradually get into it. So I would appreciate that. And if you could want to put me in, I'd be glad to try and fill a very basic role.
Yeah, you got it, Phil. Too easy.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I must say though, Phil, you were on Tuesday. We did a coffee clutch at I think at 8:30 Tuesday morning, and there were a few of us that came on and it was just actually a social hour to get together and just share and see how everybody was doing. And Phil joined in, and you've been doing quite well with these Zoom meetings, Phil. I'm very pleased. So I don't think you're that technically challenged. I think you're doing awesome.
Well, it's just that apprehension, the mystery of doing something new. But I would like to try it and then gradually work my way up. I think it's fun. I think this is great and it's fun. We're learning something brand new. For my little kids, they grew up with it. For me, it's brand new.
Yeah. Kate, how's Kate doing?
Oh, fine.
Oh, fine.
That was my nephew. He did not want to speak.
What is that? I noticed that. Have you finished?
Tyler didn't want to speak.
Did you get your porch finished? No.
Thanks for asking. No, he just kept going. That's all. Now he's like, I might as well tackle the steps too. So thanks, Ryan, for your advice on that. Ryan
Yeah, no worries.
is assisting. But yeah, we have a stained porch.
And I think
wet. At least the rain has stopped, so hopefully everything will get dried. He decided to do a couple more. I don't know. All I know is I go in the back door. I can't use the front door.
No, not for like 3 days. If you use the timber oil like he was talking about, then yeah, you got 2-3 days before you want to start walking on it.
That's cool.
I also saw your piece on Channel 2 for the wine trail.
Yeah, me too.
And how did the happy hour go?
It went great. It was started by the Cork Report, which is national, and it was an East Coast initiative, and then it spread from there. And now we're going to do it every Saturday, just on a smaller scale. Just like a Saturday night happy hours for anybody who wants to hang and drink. This week we're toasting to our heroes, whether it's your neighbor or your grocery workers or medical workers, anybody on the front line, or anyone who's just a hero for doing heroic things during this time that's not normal. Everybody's seeing heroic deeds, and so we're toasting to our heroes.
I did join with you. The only thing, when it was local wines, and the bottle of wine that I had open was not local, so
it's okay.
I was toasting during that, but it was with a non-local wine.
Allowed.
Thank you. Thank you. I see Jen is still with us. Jen Zapla, how are you doing?
Oh, she's still there.
I see her. She's still online.
Maybe she's
Jen, are you
getting-
still with
Here,
us?
sorry, I'm listening. So I'm like a weirdo who has two computers, and I have been, logging on to, I'm working right now, but I was just listening to your conversation while I'm like working-ish.
Oh, we're keeping you entertained.
Yeah.
Working-ish is
Listen to how everyone's doing.
the key there.
What?
Yes.
Working-ish.
Working-ish.
Yes.
How are things in your neck of the woods?
I mean, they're pretty good. I've discovered that although I don't know technology well at all, that they have like all these things on your phone. And so like, I don't know about you guys, but I spend a lot of time
I grew up with technology. I literally didn't have a phone in my house.
yeah, like technology is not my forte, but I learned that there's this Clips app on my phone and you can make like videos on this. Does anyone else know about this?
No.
What exactly are you doing?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, so they have like scenes, right? Like you can pick like a scene on your phone. Like I really like this one. It's like high noon. And so like you just videotape yourself like in the high noon scene, and then you can like make a movie and you can put music to it. So I've been making these videos for, I think I've done like 15 of them, and I make one almost every day, not quite, but almost every day. And some of them are music videos, they take me hours. Like I've literally spent like 3 hours making a 2-minute video and sending them to just some very special people in my life. Like only like a few, because as much as I've always wanted to be a famous YouTube star, I don't really think that I do want to be a famous YouTube star. But anyway, so that's a lot of fun. That's been my entertainment.
What app is that?
Clips.
Clips it's called?
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
Clips.
I learned something new. Thank you.
Where can you download that, Jen? Like what, from the
On my
Google Play?
phone. I didn't even download it. Like I have an iPhone, and it was just like
Oh,
one
for
of the
iPhone.
standard apps on there. So just the app.
Okay.
So, has anybody been binge watching TV at all?
Yes, Tiger King, of course. Like
Oh God.
You have
No.
to. You can't like live in this world and not watch it. I have.
Oh, yes, I can.
You know, I have not seen that yet, and everyone I asked, I said, "What should I watch?" Tiger King. That's like, oh my God, no. So I don't know what it is yet. So
Oh my God! I keep wondering, like, can it actually be real?
The new season of Ozark is out. That's really what we need to be
Ozark?
focused on. Yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no. I want something that is so far out there that it's unimaginable.
Star Trek.
Except Tiger King was mostly real.
I know, but that's what makes it so good.
all right, so now I got to go watch it. Is that what you're telling me?
No, don't do
Go
it.
watch it.
I watched. Let me see. I watched what's that?
You have to. So many people are talking about it. It's like if you don't watch it, you might as well be stuck in your house alone. Oh.
Drinking
and listening to jazz.
All right. I'm going to
Or-
go start
or
work.
taking my blood pressure.
So I'll see you all later.
All right,
Hey,
take
Ryan.
care. All right.
Ryan, take care. Have a good afternoon, Ryan.
It started to deteriorate.
Hey,
Toastmasters out.
Yes.
Hey, Larry, I got some sad
yes.
news.
What's that?
My coworkers are being furloughed, so we're gonna be very short staffed for the next few, for a long period of time. I thought I was gonna be furloughed, but since I'm a lead person, they have me still on, but this is
Okay.
one of the, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have been furloughed also for, that's a little better way of saying it. Furloughed meaning that, let's see,
Eric, hey, Eric.
everything between now and July is no longer existing on my books, so.
Eric, if you're going to be working, Eric,
What's
if you're
that?
going to be working during, I was going to say, if you're going to be working during this time, take your lunch hour while Toastmasters is on from your phone.
Let's hope I don't get caught.
Oh, your lunch hour.
Lunch hour.
Yeah.
Take your lunch. Take your break.
Hey, Eric's got the 50-50 right there. I just saw it.
Yes, I have $30.
Whoa, wait a minute. I see your 30. I saw that yesterday where there was a boy on, and he said to his father, he put $20 on the table. And then he told his father to put $20 on the table. So his father did. And then he said to his father, he said, here, he hands his father $30. He said, here, Dad, you take 30, I'll take the 40. So it looked like the dad made $10 and the son was making $10, but the son actually lost money because he put up 50 to get 40. So it was like, I'm sitting there, it's one of those weird math things that people have been doing online. I know.
Yeah.
Things we're looking for entertainment nowadays. It's like the lion thing or the
Tiger.
Oh, tiger. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
There was that video that I saw Benny posted yesterday, and I laughed so hard as how they did the Tiger King with the Lion King trailer.
Really?
It was.
Yeah.
It was funny.
It was
Is
funny.
that on Netflix?
Yes.
Is it on Netflix?
It's number one
It's on
in
Netflix.
America on Netflix right now. Blah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been watching, what did I watch? I watched Amazon. I watched a couple of movies. I saw 1917, which won a lot of awards.
Oh, I want to see that.
It was excellent movie. It's a little dark, but it was a good movie. Enjoyed that. Watched a couple of different series. I watched The Ranch, which has Ashton Kutcher in it. Ashton Kutcher, whatever his name is.
Kutcher.
Kutcher, yeah.
Ashton Kutcher, yeah.
What else did I watch? I
What's
watched The
also-
Hunter
Ooh.
with
Well,
Al Pacino.
the sun is out in Wilson. This has deteriorated bad enough. I am going to sign off. Good to see everyone. Fun meeting. Let me tell you, it was great. Take care.
Phil, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
So, Eric, there's good news, though.
What's the good news?
Well, the good news is that they've extended the time frame for the legacy program with our Toastmasters for one more whole year. So that's awesome.
Yeah, Pam actually mentioned that last Friday at Rhetorical Roar meeting, but it's just for the leadership, I heard, not for the other one.
It's not for everything. It's only if you're pursuing DTM, I think. So it's only
Right.
if you have your
Yeah.
communicator gold.
Right. Yeah. The only one it was for is for ALS and DTM.
Yeah, ALS, yeah.
So you have to be to that point for it to be in, and the ALS will not count after June 30th of this year for any educational roles for the club, but DTM will count for the club, even though it's under the legacy program past June 30th of this year, which is a good thing. So.
Yeah, I think that's good too. But I still like to see on the legacy program to get like your ACG and all that to extend it to next year as well. I thought that would be.
I don't think that they will do that because it's only because of the fact that I think even by them extending it is a good thing, but maybe because of the fact that if you're not that close, like right now where there are a lot of people that perhaps had that last month where they're trying to get in, like with myself,
Yeah.
mine is just the coach part, which with the club, the only thing missing, we have the educational goals, is membership. And we had 2 membership drives and things for the club, which all have been canceled, obviously. And so,
Yeah.
which makes it a little bit more difficult because they also extended the coaching portion of that also, so that will continue,
Oh, that's
which
good.
is nice. Yes.
You want to hear something funny?
Sure.
Yeah, I got a funny story to tell you. I don't know if anybody watched this on the news or there was this a Zoom conference call, and this woman was taking her laptop in her bathroom, and she had to go to the bathroom, and everybody else was watching. Everybody who's in that Zoom meeting was going to the bathroom, and it went viral on YouTube.
Wasn't it her phone? Why would
No,
she
it was
take
her
her
laptop.
laptop into the?
She took her laptop into her bathroom, went to the bathroom, and she forgot that she had the camera still on, and all of her coworkers were watching. I was
Oh,
like,
you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Ryan made a good point by saying it was good to see everyone's skills coming together and dressing professionally and trying out different methods and learning about muting and everything.
Yeah, it's funny
I
because
like that.
the very first Zoom meeting I ever sat in on was, I think, a year or so ago. And it was my business partner at the time was selling the LuLaRoe, and we were doing a leadership meeting, and it was a Zoom meeting. And one of the participants, she lives down in Georgia, and she was home, and it was one of those real hot, humid days. And we were actually at my office, and we had signed in, similar to how everyone signs in here. Well, she was at home sitting in her bedroom and had her laptop, but it was so hot that she was basically sitting in her birthday suit, and she had her laptop on her lap on a pillow, and she logged into the Zoom meeting. Well, she wasn't sure what the Zoom meeting was, and on her laptop has the camera. And when she logged into the Zoom meeting, she was there in her lovely glory. Needless to say, the meeting ended very quickly. The host, you had the ability, like as the host, to end the meeting, and everyone was trying to figure out what happened, and which I didn't know, because when a lot of people sign in, it goes to page 2, page 3, page 4, and she popped in on the thing, and then they sent out a message saying that they were going to hold the meeting later that week, and they sent out proper etiquette on how to dress for a meeting.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so that point that was made today about everybody dressing appropriately and things like that, that was well put, I guess is the best way of saying it. But even if you're in pajama bottoms, the top would. I am a little curious
Wow.
on how they're going to do the speech contest next week. And
Yeah, I won't be able to make it. Yeah.
well, I'm going to.
A practice session the other day, and I think they're going to do like one more practice session and put people into breakout rooms and stuff. I don't know how well it will go, but I know a lot of people have been attending contests, and it was good to have the practice session for all of the role holders.
Yeah, Patrick sat in on the one with me on Sunday, the one from Quebec, and I have to tell you, they had over 100 people online for that meeting, and the way that it was run, they must have been well versed in Zoom, Because what they did is when everybody signed in, like how we are right now, we are in a